Okay, hello, everyone. I'm here with Celeste and Brian, an
Hello,
amazing couple.
everyone.
Yes. So they're an amazing couple after adventure. They're like avid into affiliate marketing, and they have an amazing and beautiful story of adventure to share with everyone. So if you guys don't mind sharing kind of along the lines of like where you were in your life when this business kind of came across your path, and then what was it about this particular opportunity or lifestyle that inspired you to dive in? And then where has it taken you so far? Because I know you guys have been kind of hanging out in here for a little while. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks
It's
for
a
having
pleasure.
us. I love your personality and we vibe really well with you.
Yeah, thank you. I
So,
agree. Totally.
yeah, no, we totally vibe. So, actually, me and my husband, we moved to Costa Rica 4 years ago. And that's kind of what I think opened up our eyes to the idea of being a digital nomad. We were just working there remotely. He was
Yeah,
working
well,
there
it
remotely.
wasn't initially planned that way. What actually happened, we were looking into just doing like a service project or something. Um, and so we made some phone calls thinking, yeah, you're fluent in Spanish, so let's see if we can go to Ecuador or someplace in Latin America, and got in touch with someone that was living in Costa Rica. And so yeah, we kind of just moved everything, packed up our stuff, and went to Costa Rica. It was only meant to be a 6 month plan. I actually got approval to work remotely for that 6 months. What I was doing before was I was designing websites for financial advisors.
Mhm.
And yeah, we were super excited. And it was going to be a really great time. It was a great time. But yeah.
I love your adventure spirit. Like, let's just go. Take off, pack it all up and
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
We are very adventurous. I think that's where we kind of realized when we got there, we were just like, he was working literally all day long with his job, literally
Yeah.
morning till night. I didn't see him till it was dark because in Costa Rica it gets dark around like 5 or 6. So I was literally never seeing him. He wasn't even able to go outside practically and do anything. And we're just like, this is supposed to be life for 40 more years. Like we want to go
Yeah.
travel. We want to be able to be free, and do things in the during the day and make a difference. And so that's kind of where we found Heather, is we were like trying to find a solution to having to just be in the grind for 40 years. That just didn't make sense to us. Like that did
Yeah,
not
even it's wanting to
align.
be a stay-at-home mom. I don't see the point in being a stay-at-home mom if I'm still not going to see my kid for 8 hours. Like if I have a
Exactly.
normal like work from home job, but she can't be
Right.
around me. I was like, it's the same thing. I'm just saving like an hour of commute time. Yeah, that freedom and flexibility is so important to actually be able to like enjoy living your life and not just work a third of it forever.
Sure. Yeah. So 3 months in Costa Rica, just like Celeste said, I wasn't able to enjoy the outside time. I was living for the weekends. That's the only time I could actually go outside and enjoy myself. And so yeah, I was super burnt out. And I decided to leave my job. And yeah, we met our good friend Heather in Costa Rica, who was already living that lifestyle that we were so craving, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I left my job, kind of living off of savings, and introduced into this space, into this business, into this affiliate marketing um,
World.
amazingness.
We're like in our own world. It's like a new
Yeah.
world.
World. Well, what really stood out to me too was I'm huge into money. Like I love like, okay, what will get me the most return on investment or the most money? Like my mom was telling me to become a nurse practitioner or become a physician assistant or an engineer. I was always like looking at those kinds of careers as a kid because I
That's
really
what I was
wanted to
trying
be
to get.
stable,
Yeah,
you
that's what I was
know?
trying to get I was well working towards getting my accounting degree, a CPA,
Yeah,
eight
because you
years of
get paid
school. I could
well.
make, yeah, exactly. But you
And
worked
so what
forever.
really, yeah, exactly. But really what stood out to me was Heather and her husband were both engineers and were wanting to leave that job where they were probably making over $200,000 a year together They were
Back
making
then, yeah.
money. Yeah. And so the fact that they would be wanting to leave that kind of lucrative career to come to the affiliate marketing space stood out to me because I'm like, okay, well, they're making good money, but clearly there must be more money here, else why would they leave that career? You know?
And they did not make that decision lightly. They searched for years to find
Yeah,
the right opportunity to exit that career.
right. Like they were picky
Years.
about it too. And
Hmm.
so we were like, okay, we've got to look into this further. And it totally checked all our boxes. But it also sounded like it was too good to be true. Like there's like no way this can actually work for us. It works for them, but maybe it won't work for us. So we were kind of hesitant. But we were like, nothing changes if nothing changes. Let's just try it out. Like there's no harm in just trying, right?
If you never
So
try, you always wonder.
you always wonder,
Exactly.
like, what if, like, 40 years down the road, 30 years down the road, we be in our mid, 40s, 50s, and then we would just be like, wow, what if we would have taken the leap of faith? Where could we be now?
You could have
I
retired
didn't want
15
to have
years ago.
that.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said you could have retired at 50. You could have been like retired 15 years prior had you
Mhm.
taken that leap and just stepped into your courage.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't want to live with that regret. So we took the leap and we're so grateful that we did. I mean, yeah, it really checked all our boxes because we're huge into health, huge into taking care of ourselves. The products that we align with, it's amazing for our health, for our well-being, for the planet, all those
Mhm.
things. And then we get to share it with everybody. How awesome is that?
Yeah. And we had to help people also because me and Brian, we always said if we were to do something in the corporate realm, it'd be something with psychology, something with helping people mentally,
Mhm.
and also
Yeah.
holistically, because I could see myself being like a personal trainer or something like that, or a yoga instructor, which I already do, but like going more towards that realm, That's kind of all, and this is all encompassing. We get to help people pass their fears, help them go through all their, their mental load of their doubts, their insecurities, and we get
And
to help
release,
them with their health.
yeah,
It's like
their mental, physical, financial, like emotional, spiritual.
spiritual,
It's
everything.
all your health, like your health in a whole gets to be improved by this. It's literally like incredible.
Yeah, and I remember when I came back from a mission for my church, and I was just trying to write down what would be my dream career. What would it be? And I was like writing down, okay, I want to do something with this with holistic health. It was always holistic health. It was always all encompassing. I was like, well, what could I do with that? So I ended up going to community health education as my career. And the most you can make with that kind of a career is around $50,000 a year. And I was like, huh,
It's like the
that's not
max.
going to
Yikes.
that doesn't cut it.
Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now when it's $30. Like me and my husband ordered African food last night. It was $30 for one plate.
Good food. I mean, we're not complaining, but
Yeah,
It adds up.
exactly.
It adds
Yeah,
up,
that I mean, sadly, that used to be an amazing amount of money to make. It did. But now it's to the point where we've gotten like economically, that's barely enough to survive, let alone thrive and like actually be able to do things you enjoy and like want to do to have fun. It's
Right.
crazy.
Right, because we wanted to travel the world. We have such big goals, and we needed something that would actually match those goals.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we always help people like, okay, get clear on your vision because you can really tell where you want to go depending on your vision. That is really what it comes down to is that vision.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
actually super true. Finding that vision, then you can map the path and find something that can get you there once you know where you're going, what you want to achieve.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say this too. So not only is it wonderful with the finances and being able to not have to worry about it, um, what you want, because you have to invest in things that you want to grow and develop and enjoy life. That's just part of living life is you have to pay for things. So the finances is amazing with the legacy wealth plan. Um, but a big thing for me too is I love being creative. I'm a huge creative. like I mentioned, I was designing websites prior to this, and I loved it initially, but I sort of the burnout, yes, was the time restraint, but it was also having to adhere to the needs of other people, like the demands of, doesn't matter how creative I was, how satisfied I was with the work I did, it was always having to please others.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to create what I wanted to create, what I would, have that flexibility of um, just creating what I wanted to do. And that's what you get to do in this space. You get to show up as you get to create what you want to do. Um, and yeah, create that personal brand and show up with all your um, flaws, all your strengths, everything, and your passions, whatever you enjoy, you get to do that. And that really spoke to me because I really wanted to show up that way, and we get to do that. It's so much fun.
It is, yeah. I'm just like learning how to step back into myself after, having a toddler and learning how to be a mom. Now I'm like, oh wait, okay,
Yeah.
so I am a mom, but I'm still me. So let's figure out who me as a mom is. And it's beautiful. This process has really helped me step into that, especially with the support and the coaching that I chose to invest in for myself. It's really like helped me recapture who I am, the bits and pieces that still apply, because now I'm just taking bits of who I was before I got pregnant and then figuring out all the other bits. It's kind of cool. It's like I was reborn when my daughter was born, and I don't know. This whole process has helped me find that because I got really, really lost after I had her. I just felt, I don't know. I don't know what I felt. I felt lost. Like I was so happy and like becoming a mom. I'm like literally in love with being a mom. And I thought for the first couple of years, I was like, okay, well, that's just what I am. I'm not Michelle anymore. I'm just Willow's mom now. And that's okay. I was all about it. But then I started like it started having an effect around 2 years where I was like, okay, well, I don't do anything for myself, like ever at all. Um, and this process really helped me kind of step into my own and not like feel guilty and be able to like show up as me as still being her mom. So it's kind of, kind of revolutionary, just if you will. Yeah,
It really
Great
is.
that you've been able to get out of that mom slumber, as some people, they
I
term it,
have.
through
It took a
this.
lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was in it at one point, like as I was coming out of it, I didn't even know that's what was happening, but it's totally what was. And yeah, I can see how people just kind of get stuck there. Like if I hadn't have like really stepped into getting uncomfortable and just like kind of getting really like honest with myself, I probably would have stayed there for a really long time and just lost there's lies, sorry. Just lost myself even more. But yeah, it's a crazy process, that little mommy slumber.
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
go through it though. Yeah, it really helped me release a lot of my not so great habits, I guess, being able to just like focus in that space.
And now I feel like you can relate to other moms, and you can actually like help them recognize when they're in that mode of slumber. So you can
Hmm.
actually help them get past it from your experiences. If you had never experienced that,
Yeah,
you probably would be able to relate the same.
exactly. See, and that's what you were just saying, Ryan, about like just being able to show up as yourself and like be who you are. And that's the beauty of it, because I didn't think I had anything to share. When I first came across this business, I was like, who's gonna want to listen to me? Like I have nothing special. There's like nothing special about me. Like yeah, they can do it. They probably have all these cool experiences and like skills and all of this stuff. And she really didn't. Like Heather had to transform herself just like I am now. But that's the beauty of it, is that I don't have to be anything other than exactly who I am. Because surprisingly enough, there are hundreds of people that can relate to things that I think are so insignificant, but these people are like in the trenches of it right now. And sometimes hearing me speak about it in my content is just like this light that they needed to feel like they're not the only one. And
Right?
it's insignificant. Yeah, it's insignificant. Like some of the content where I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna even read this. I'll get responses and people are like, man, I really, really needed to hear that. Like that hit deep. I'm like experiencing that right now. So just by sharing something that's like super simple that you're going through could change somebody's life, and it could give them that companionship, like, and help them to not feel alone.
Yeah, I
So
remember
that's
when we got that a few times from our content too, and that was like kind of, but sometimes you don't get any responses to your content, but then you get
Mhm.
those few responses where people are like, wow, this changed my life. Like, wow,
Seriously.
what is it you're doing? Because I need this light in my life, kind of thing. Like people really like gravitate towards people who are trying to be a better person, like this light we're trying to bring to the world. People need that. Like people are in such dark places and we're giving a lot of people hope.
That's
Yeah,
really
by
what
share.
feels good about this business. We get
Yeah.
to help people, and that's the thing too, is you don't have to be a salesperson per se. You just share your truth, relate to the people, provide an opportunity, this great opportunity, and it's yeah, you get to connect with so many different people that you never would have guessed needed to hear what you have to offer, what you have to share. And it feels so good to do that, right?
Mhm. Opening that channel for them to just like, connect when they could have been feeling totally alone, all by themselves, like they're going through this all by themselves. And to see a piece of content that we've written or shared or just whatever it is, and they feel that like companionship to like, oh, okay, so somebody else has gone through this. Like it's not just me. I'm not like the weird one, which I used to think like, oh God, why am I doing this? Why do I think this? Why do I feel this?
Yeah,
Like,
that's how
oh,
I always felt too.
yeah, but it helps to know you're not the only one. And
Right.
yeah, it's just, yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to, and that's the beauty of all of it is you don't have to be salesy, like you were just saying. It's not about selling. It's about building relationships and, connecting with people in a genuine way where you have something to share. And that's how there's no competition, there's no nothing, because I'm the only me, you guys are the only yous, like people will
Right.
connect with you because they relate to you. And that's how your community grows, your direct community.
Right.
It's a beautiful process. Yeah. You're not having to
It
like go
is.
fish for people. You just show up as yourself, be honest about your journey and what you're going through, and it attracts people that can relate to what's happening in your life.
Yeah. Because a lot of people sometimes think when they join this space, they're like, well, how am I ever going to compete with Michelle? Like, Michelle has all these experiences. She is this person who I could never be. How could I ever do as well as her or as Heather or whoever? Because I've never been through what they've been through. And, like, I'm not that way. But you're right. When you really go into you, your strengths, there always are, like, it also comes back to that self-belief. Like, you have to really believe you're worthy of making a difference in people's lives. Like, you actually have a voice and you have something to share with the world, which is sometimes really
Mhm.
hard for people. But once they
It
realize that,
is.
that's where the pop-in happens. That's where things go,
Yeah. And I love that you're saying that because I'm in the trenches of that right now. When I started this, I did not feel worthy. I knew that I wanted to make a change. I knew that I wanted to support people. I knew that I wanted to help people, but I did not see how I could or think that I was capable. Now, oh, there's no stopping me. Like, I know I'm worthy. I know this is what I meant to do. And I know that I'm going to keep going until I change as many lives as I can, my family and strangers alike. Like it's something, it's an acquired taste, like I didn't believe fully in myself. I saw the master class. I aligned with it so fully that I was like, oh my God, this is it. And then my mind was like, well, how? But when? And what if? And what if not? And then this. And all these things started happening. And I started like, talking myself out of that like intuitive connection to the opportunity. And I really started doubting myself, but I knew it was so perfect. And I just knew in my core, and I listened to my intuition that this was going to be my path. I had no idea how. And I kept saying, well, she did it, but what if I can't do it? And I just kept going and kept going. And I took breaks when I needed. But then I finally realized the only thing that could ever stop me from being successful is giving up. Because if one person can do it, anyone can do it. And I'm telling you, if 1,000 people can do it, literally anyone can do it. You just have to stick with it long enough to believe in yourself, know your worth, and find what's going to work for you. Because what works for this person is not going to identically work for you. You have to find your own twist to it. And I think that's where I struggled in the beginning. I was like, oh, okay, well, this person found success like this, doing this and that. And I would try and like replicate it. And then I finally realized that I just need to let all that go. I know the system works. I need to follow the system in a way that feels right for me and like that I align with, you know? I have to just show up
Right.
and fumble and figure it out, fail and learn and go and then that's what I'm doing. And it's beautiful. And it's a whole new world.
I love
So yeah.
it. Well, yeah, I have a question for you. So what
Mhm.
made you decide to pull the trigger of investing in your products when you didn't feel all the way worthy of the
Um, it
success?
was it was about the knowing. Like I knew that this ticked all of my boxes and boxes that I didn't even know I had. So when I ended up actually purchasing my products, I had been in the Freedom Era Academy for 4 months already. And I was still having limiting beliefs and doubts, and I was going through the money mindset, and I was doing a lot of the courses before I actually purchased my first of 3 products. So I had signed up for a medical billing and coding program because it paid good, and it was like 12 to 18 month program, and I knew I could get through it fast. But it was highly unlikely I was going to find a job because the remote ones were saturated. I would still have to be away from Willow because that's not something you can do with a crazy baby all over you. My daughter likes to crawl all over me. Um, and I just got sick. Like I committed to the program and it was over $5,000, the medical billing. Um, and as soon as I did that, it was all out of obligation, out of the duty to do what was responsible and get like a real job. And I literally got physically ill. Like I was so sick that I knew I was making the wrong choice. I was like, this isn't what I want. This isn't what I want for myself. This isn't what I want for my daughter. Like I can't just make this because I might have a good income if I get a job. Um, and I reached out to Heather again and I just started talking to her a little bit. And at that moment, within 24 hours, I canceled that course and was like, no, there's no reason. Like if I'm gonna just blindly commit this much money to this program where I probably wouldn't even get a job for at least a year, if not more, after I completed the program, why wouldn't I put that same amount of money into something where the harder I work, the sooner I can start making an income and an income that would be like 10 times, if not more, than what I was making. It just started to add up. Like I need to just be brave. I had to step into my courage. I was terrified, but I did it anyways because I knew it was what was going to get me to the life I want. I had no idea how. I was terrified. It scared the living crap out of me. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was capable, but that was just a year and a half ago. And I had to do a lot of work on myself. And then I took some time off to deal with life and being a mom and a wildfire lawsuit. And all of that work that I had done had been compounding. So I came back unstoppable. Like I was so sure of myself. I walked away from an insurance job to go all in on this business a few months ago. And I am so sure of my choice. I'm so sure of myself, my abilities, my commitment, the path that I'm on. Like there's nothing that's going to stop me. And I'm going to keep showing up every single day until I find that little formula of what's going to work with me for content creation and ads and all the things. And I'm going to keep going. And my vision has expanded so much into like I've always been like the little counselor, in my family and my friends.
Me
The
too,
amount
of
of coaching.
course.
Yeah, seriously, everybody, even my little sister was like, seriously, like you need to do this with people. Um, so not just people that are, you know, aligning with the business, but my presence on social media, the vision that I have for that has completely transformed. Like, I want to coach people in a way that changes lives. Like, even if somebody's not aligned with this business, I still want to show up every day with my content and what I create over the next few years and beyond. That's going to be changing lives, whether they're financially connected to me or not. Like, I want to impact or change the lives of women and children and families. And it's compounding and growing, and I know that I'm capable and I know that I'm going to achieve that now, and this business is just like this really beautiful piece of it that got me here, and it's going to keep carrying me through. I
Yeah.
went from so much doubt, not even believing in myself, not even thinking I was capable or worthy or had a voice or anything, to like, I will be standing on mountaintops and shouting. I am so confident in my vision in myself now. It's amazing,
What
the
That is
transformation.
amazing.
is amazing. I have a question also. What did Heather say on that call that made you probably be like, okay, I'm going to quit medical coding. I'm going to just go all in on my vision. Was there something specific that she said that made you realize that?
Honestly, I don't remember specifically, but knowing Heather and a lot of the support that she gives me, a lot of it is she encourages me to respect my feelings and to feel into things. And I'm gonna go ahead and assume and that it had a lot to do with her telling me to just take a break or take a breath and like really feel into it and not like try to do too much, to really see how I connected and how I felt about it all. And I think that sitting back and doing that self-reflection is where like comparing the two, like, well, what is this going to get me? The medical billing and coding, and then what is this going to get me? And realizing and listening to myself and my intuition that this business is what's going to actually provide me everything that I want for my daughter and
I got freaking chills. Oh, that's amazing.
I. Thank you. So what about you guys? What exactly do you remember what the pinpoint moment was? I know there was a lot of like different aspects of the freedom of the business, but do you remember what exactly was going on when you were like, no, this is it. Like we're making the transition and just going for this business full-fledged no matter what.
Yeah, no, that's a good question for us. Well, I've been listening to you, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I feel the same way in so many ways, just because we really, really wanted to be able to be world travelers. We really wanted to
Mhm.
passionately help people in amazing ways. We just didn't know what, we didn't know how, and being introduced into this space, it just like how you're expressing it lit a fire in us. Just the idea of, hey, there's so much possibility with this. Like we've got
Mhm.
to at least try. Yes, absolutely. Like you're saying, there was a lot of initial fear and doubt of, oh, we're even capable of doing this. Because we're not at this person's level or that person's level or whatever. You just know how to sit with where we're at. Um, I think that's the key though, is understanding your vision, right? Understanding where you're wanting to be, because it doesn't matter where you're starting from, where you're at. For us, just like Celeste said, she was going to school for community health. I was actually going to school for marketing. We both ended up getting our degree and finishing while we were in Costa Rica. Um,
We were like,
but
we
yeah,
weren't sure when we were first got into this space. We still were dabbling. We knew that this possibility was real,
try a lot of different
but we
things.
needed to still try everything else on top of that just to make sure because we
Yeah.
already were finishing our degrees. We had one semester left each, so we were like, we got to finish that.
Yep.
And we were also working on our YouTube channel for our yoga, for doing different yoga routines. And so we kind of had
With that idea, yeah.
experiments we were doing, like doing couple content creation, couple travel content. So we were kind of like dabbling in like this whole realm, and we knew that magic would be the vehicle to bring us, the most wealth. I think we had to dabble on the other things first to realize this is where it's at. Like if you actually want to make $30,000-$50,000 months, this is where it's at. There's like being a content couple creator influencer wasn't going to be the same as if we were to do all in with the magic and make sales. Like there's just, we see a lot of friends who are in this couple travel niche that we were trying to get into, and they're working with tons of hotels. They're doing tons of collaborations. They're traveling the world for free, but they're still struggling financially. They're still like, we're looking for more UGC reels, we're looking for more ability to do this. It's not enough. And they're busting their asses. Like they have all this
Mhm.
experience with film and photography and content creation, but it's not enough to pay the bills. That's where that's where we don't want to be, you know. We want to make money sustainable long term. And that's why we decided, okay, it was like I think it was 6 months ago. We're going all in on this. There's nothing else for us. Nothing else for us.
Yeah. We got
It's
introduced to
everything
it a while ago,
changes.
but it's been a roller coaster of dabbling here, dabbling there. And so my suggestion for anyone watching is commit. Yes, there's the thing is there's risk to anything in life. There's a risk in
Oh,
staying where you're at. There's risk in trying something new. But think about the idea of like you stay where you're at, nothing's gonna change. You've got to, there's
or it's
only
going to get
growth
worse.
in.
Yes, it's gonna get worse.
You're
Yeah.
either going to stay where you're at, or you could get fired at any moment and your life's going to get worse. Or, like you said, you could risk something new and everything could be amazing and beautiful and change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely the key is commitment. You just stay true to it. Um,
We've already
we,
tried
we
everything.
dabbled, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. But
I
the
think
dabbling, it's
we
so important because it teaches you everything. Like it solidifies your decision, first of all, within a magic, but it teaches you all of the things that you don't want. And I am such a firm
yes.
believer in trying as many things as you need to get to where you want to be, because there's no way in this world to know what you want if you have no idea what you don't want. So dabbling, it's like growing up, I used to do the same thing. I would try all different things, and if I didn't like it after a while, I would move on. I would give it my all. But everybody's like, "Oh, you're wishy-washy. Oh, you're this." No, I learned a whole heck of a lot about what I did not want for my life. So then by the time
How
I
we
became a
feel.
mom, yeah. So by the time I became a mom, I already knew all of the things that were not going to work for me, you know? And now I get to move further into the things that do work for me. So I think that's awesome that you guys did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think so
I
too.
mean,
It taught us a lot about what we really
at the
wanted.
end of it, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
It worked for us with where we needed to be and how we developed and grew.
And now it's like we're better equipped to be better leaders and
Hmm.
we can show up differently and then we have a new posture around things, I think, because
Yeah,
we've
because
been
you're
able
so
to.
rooted. You're rooted in your decision, and you know so much more like solidly that this is exactly what you want. I feel like it for me, it like gave me more passion and determination. Like there's no plan B. I had a plan B the whole time up until a few months ago. There's no plan B. There's no other option. Like, well, what if you don't succeed? I was like, well, that's literally impossible because I will continue doing whatever I have to do until I succeed and figure it out. Like I think we even talked in our previous interview, and you had asked me what happens if you run out of your savings and your credit within a year. And I was like, well, then I'll just start doing Amazon part-time again until I get to the point where I want to be in my business. I don't, my belief is so strong that I don't see it happening, but that's worst case scenario for me. Someone asked me, what's your worst case and your best case? I was like, well, best case is I'm making like $100,000 a month. I'm traveling the world and, giving back with my daughters, speaking on stages, changing lives. I was like, worst case scenario. I was like, I don't know. Before, I would think like I was in ruins and all of this, but I am in a comfortable place in my life where my worst case scenario would be I get a part-time job to continue funding this until it works. And that's not even, I was like, that's not even like a worst case scenario. That is okay, it is what it is. And that's not even like that bad. Worst case scenario is it takes me longer than I have assured myself that it will. Like I have the confidence and I can just feel in my bones that, it's probably a few months, but if it happens to take longer and my intuition was off, then it takes longer. That's worst case scenario. There is no, it won't happen. Like that's not even an option or a thought, or it's like not even a possibility for me because I'm like so passionate and sure of what I'm doing and that this is the exact path that I want to be on. That veering from this path because it's not working, that doesn't exist. It's not a part of my reality.
I think
Love
people
it.
are more than ready for this now than ever because people are looking for solutions out of their normal jobs and they're seeing how ridiculous the matrix is. They're seeing how the government is, in a sense, it's helping them be broke. It's keeping them broke. They're not able to really get ahead. Putting $100 in your savings every month isn't going to get you ahead. Like you've got to be able to make more money. People, especially like millennials and Gen Zs, we're like super open-minded to this kind of thing because we know
Especially
that we don't.
technology.
Yeah, exactly. It
Right.
makes sense to adapt
Take
to
advantage of
technology.
what we've got.
It feels like it
Yeah.
would be dumb to not take advantage of technology or to take advantage of what's at our fingertips, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially at the rate it's growing. And like you're saying, putting savings, that will never keep up with the rate of inflation right now.
Or even if you put it in some investments, it's still not enough if you don't really have leveraged income.
Yep.
Mhm.
Gotta
Yeah.
have something that exponentially grows. And one thing that I feel I need to share. So again, from hearing with you and um, what we've already talked about a little bit, is what's nice about this is you grow with your business. Like you develop, you create new strategies, you figure things out, and it's such a beautiful journey to be on to do that. 'Cause one thing for me, so yes, I technically did get a degree in marketing, but I feel like it was a waste of time, a waste of money, at least for me personally, because I don't use it. I didn't learn near as much as I do as I do now in this community. All the coaching, all of the courses that's provided for us.
We're learning from
I
millionaires.
learned way more
Literally.
from that than I did from 5 years
I don't
of
think any of
my degree.
your teachers weren't millionaires, probably.
No, not even close. So
And is any of the content from that degree, is it even relevant at the rate that technology and marketing and everything has progressively grown? Is any of it still even applicable today, the way that they
it
taught
keeps
marketing
changing.
5 years ago?
So
Not
no,
even
not
close.
even.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that degree, I mean, as you're even getting the degree, the courses are losing relevance, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I feel a bit of unfortunate status there. I met Celeste because of school, so there is that. There's a
See, that
plus,
that
there's
that
pros
was
and
what
cons.
Ada was all about.
You're right. But as
That
far
was
as the
the
learning
destiny
and
of your degree.
education, yeah, there's way more in the community and the um you you have to learn from the people that you want to become like. You want to, if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a billionaire, learn from those people. That's
Because they
what
paved
ties
the
us
way.
to this great community, to learn from. And then I think when we first got introduced to, part of the reason we dabbled is yes, we wanted to explore our options and just kind of develop ourselves in that way. But I also had a bit of pride for myself, like, oh, I have a marketing degree, woo woo. I should be awesome at this. I don't need help. I don't need coaching. Screw this. Let me do my own thing. Whoops. And
But that's what we were taught, growing up. Like if you get that degree, that gives you a certain level of, I don't know, leverage or, you know, I grew up thinking that I would never be able to be wealthy because I didn't have a degree or I didn't come from wealth already. Like that's what I was taught growing up. Oh, we're already in the lower class. We're already, financially struggling. So that's just where we are
yeah,
and we're going to stay there. And because you were born into that, that's where you're going to live. But that is far from true. I mean, I blew that shit out of the water when I was, 18, 19, 20. I was like, nope, I'm not, I refuse to continue to live that life. And now it's just exponentially growing and growing and growing. So just because
for
we were
sure.
taught something and it was applicable as we were growing up or whatever situation we were in, it doesn't mean we have to live it, believe it, or even align with it or remember it for freaking heck's sake. It's
Hmm.
just because it's something that worked for society many, many moons ago doesn't mean it's relevant at all today. Like we can literally do, and I guess we're told this as kids, but we think it's just like, a pipe dream. You can literally do anything you set your mind to. And that's some of the truest advice I have ever Like I tell my daughter that every night now because it's so true. I never knew how much control and power we have over our own destiny and our
Nor
future.
did I. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. We're always taught to blame and like give our environment and people around us so much power, so much power. And I was a victim of that, like all the time, like, oh, this is my situation, this is my environment, this is okay, so I'm going to get comfortable living here. But that's not the case. Like, we can do whatever the hell we want to. You just have to go after it and like believe in yourself and know that you can achieve it no matter what.
Right. Absolutely. Live in your dream. So for me, my own mother actually said this was so I visited her at one point and she asked me like, how you doing, whatever. And I was like, I'm living the dream, only for her to come back and stab me and say, you're living the dream or are you living in a dream? I'm like, I had
I
to
know.
think about that for a second. Like, I don't care. What's wrong with
Girl,
that? Even
ew.
if it's both, like, if I'm living in a dream, but I'm enjoying it, I'm gonna do that.
So
You
that is
know?
your, yeah, people, do you know how I can relate to that? People have told me, and it's the same thing, but different words. They're like, you always have your head in clouds. I'm all, well, hell yeah, it's funner. It's way better up here.
How's it? Don't join me,
I don't want
right?
to go down to the land of misery. Thank you.
For real.
Like, do you want the results of those people? Like, you don't listen to people who don't have what you want in life, you know?
Yeah.
That was hard for me too. Like, have you guys ever had trouble? Like, you love and trust your family and these people, but they're not living the life that you want. They never have, and they can't even envision it. But you love and trust them so much that you want to, or I have wanted to take their advice and listen to their experience and all of this. And it was so confronting for me to have to be like, that's their experience and it doesn't apply to me at all. Like, it took my dad over a year to even ask me a question about my business because he thought it was bullshit for so long. He just thought it was ridiculous. So he would never like not support me. Like he was supportive, but he didn't even want to understand it because he thought I was just one of my little pipe dreams and whatever and all this stuff. And then one day, like it was 2 months ago, he finally was like, okay, tell me what you're doing. And then the conversation ended in him, yeah, people get degrees and they can't even get a job. But at least you're working towards something that you can achieve, and it might, take however long. And he's like 100% on board now. He just walked into the living room and Dave was like, what is this? Tell me what's going
Wow,
on.
that's amazing.
And he understands it. And I explained the compensation plan to him. And I explained what my first sale would be because I upgraded to a quad and got another an Espa. And he was like, oh, I get it. I was like, yeah, 8 points is what I can get up to. And with the strategy that I personally align with, I was like, that will get me to the point where each sale is around $7,000 for one sale of 4 products. And he was like, oh, now I get it. Now I get why you're working so hard for this and like
Mhm.
why you want it so bad. I was like, yeah, yeah. My first like 5 to 10 sales would be significantly more than any job working in a year. And he's like, yeah, okay, now I understand. And he's like, all for it. So it's
Awesome.
crazy. It's crazy,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it
But
makes
had
a
I
big
listened to
difference
him,
when you realize what's possible with just a few cells, how much you can make
hmm
and make a difference. It's a big thing. So, but yeah,
yeah, had
I
I
mean, sorry,
go ahead,
what?
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna add, yeah, with my family in particular, I've had to I love my family. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely
I'm
love
the
my
same.
family, right? But I recognize that my family has a tendency to be okay in their comfort zone. And meanwhile, I want to grow. I want to break free. I want to do all these things that my family's not doing. And so it's been hard. But I recognize that where I want to be, I have to make certain choices and so in some sense, I've kind of distanced myself from my family because they're again, they're loving, they're sweet. They just don't understand what I'm doing, what I'm going after, what I'm achieving.
They're against.
They're very
Okay.
much against, they think it's unethical. They haven't really,
They
we've
did
shared a
say,
few
but
things with them,
yeah.
but they just assume and they're not in a place to grasp it and understand it. And I'm okay with that. You know, let them live their life as long as I can live mine. So I've had to distance myself a little bit from my family because of that. And that's the thing. I don't feel alone though, because there's
Our
a great
community.
community of everyone that's
Mhm.
like-minded, that's going after the same things. Um, feel very, very supported. But yeah, there's some people in your past, people, even friends and family, that you
I
just
have
kind of have to
specific
distance
people
yourself.
I won't even talk about my business with because
Yeah,
they just want to like argue about it. And I'm not willing to get into that energy battle with them when they don't genuinely care and they don't even want to try to understand it. They just want to argue about it. I won't even talk about it. I'll be like, no. And it was hard. I used to feel like I had to try and explain it to everyone and get them on board in the beginning. And it was hard. Energetically, it was hard for the people that I love to not understand and not support me. But I just got to the point where I was like, I get it. I see the vision. I see where it's taking me, and that's all that matters. Because I used to cry. Like I would get really sad. I'm super close to my family and friends. Like my family's everything. But now I just there's some people where I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to understand it. It's not for you. Some people, I don't look at those posts and you start talking. I'm like, that's okay because they're not for you. Like, you just
right.
swipe right by them. I was like, don't even read them. I was
No
like, you
harm
don't need to
done, right?
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was nice to even have that conversation. Like, if it's about my daughter or whatever, then go ahead and read my post, whatever. If it's not, just wait. And I was like, you don't need to understand it. It's totally fine. But it was hard to get to that point to not have people want to understand or want to be on board. They like are still against it. They think they don't understand. They don't get it.
That's
But
okay.
I had the
Yeah.
it
same
is.
situation where I felt that way too. But it's like cool when you can move past that where you're just like, I'm not trying to sell to everybody. I just need to help a few people who
Yeah.
actually want this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks
Well, I
for we
think
have
we're
to get
gonna
going soon, but
I was just gonna say that too. My laptop's gonna die.
Oh
Another
yeah.
time.
I'll go
But
talk
this
to
was
you.
awesome. Yeah, we had such a good chat. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
I think that people who are watching this, if they're on the fence whether they want to join or not, I mean, learn from our experiences and, go all in from the beginning and see what that will create for you. See how your life
Mhm.
will start to change and shift.
Yeah. Totally, totally worth it. Take that risk, take that leap of faith, jump all in and explore this opportunity because we can't see ourselves doing anything else. This is the key for
It's
us and
life
it can be
changing.
for anyone. So take
Yeah. So
advantage.
choose your risk because yeah, no matter what you think, you're taking a risk either way by not trying or trying
Yeah.
it.
Right.
So if you were following me and this is how you landed on this video, reach out to me and I would love to help you. If you were following Celeste and Brian, reach out to them because I will be tagging you guys as soon as I post this. But I just want to thank everyone who's still here for watching. And like they said, if you're on the fence, just dive in, make an educated decision. At the very least, you learned something new and you know that it's not for you, or you know that it's everything you've ever wanted. So,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, thank you guys again. I
exactly.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
We
It's a
love
pleasure.
talking with you, Michelle. I feel like we're gonna
I
have so
know
much
you
fun in
guys too.
Japan. We'll
Can't wait
see
to
you in
see you guys. I
Japan.
know.
I'll give you a
And
big
Willow,
hug.
she's what?
Yeah, we're
All right.
excited.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, Michelle.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.